All right, the time is 4:22 p.m. It is January 31st. This is an update from Great Lakes Weather regarding the major winter storm that is officially coming our way. We have all the winter storm watches and warnings put out now in parts of southern lower Michigan, across almost the entire state of Indiana, and northern and central Ohio. There's going to be a lot of impacts from this system, especially for the Great Lakes region. So we are going to go into all the different possibilities in regards to snow potential, as well as all the accumulations, the ice accumulations, what the National Weather Service is saying. And we are also going to get into the aftermath, what we're going to be dealing with behind the system as well. So before we get into that, I just want to remind you to subscribe to all of our major platforms, whichever one you're watching on. There's other platforms you can get connected with us on. We have YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, even Telegram. Telegram's not on much, but we do have that. Twitter. And we also have a Remind system. That's if you want to get connected to text alerts for Southwest Lower Michigan. If you want to see our other options for text alerts, you can visit our website by scanning that QR code. If you're watching on desktop, you can always get connected with us in that way. All right, let's take a look at the current warnings and watches that have been put out. So this is the current information from the National Weather Service. You can see right here on this backside, we have this warm front that's moving in. That warm front is going to send our temperatures up into even the 40s in parts of southern Michigan, and even up into the 50s possibly in parts of southern Indiana and Ohio. So we're going to see much warmer temperatures tomorrow, but that is going to quickly change as a cold front very close behind is going to bring in the potential for a lot of heavy snow. So what do all of these boxes mean? These boxes are currently winter storm watches and warnings. They just updated some winter storm warnings for central Illinois. This storm is going to be basically taking a long stretch across northern Indiana, northern Ohio, and southern Michigan and producing lots of heavy snow, okay? The areas you already see under the winter storm warning are for snowfall totals in excess of 10 inches, okay? So that's 10 inches, that's double digits. So we are going to get double digit snow totals likely from this region here, okay? So, including parts of Detroit as well. Detroit is under the gun for 10 to 16 inches as well. So these regions should pay close attention to later forecasts, as forecast models are still trying to fine-tune the details, but we are quite more certain, I guess you could say, where this snow is actually going to land, okay? Now, you have this region of over 10 inches of snow. Down to the south, the snowfall totals get a little bit less. For example, if you go down to where Cedarville is at, where this blue dot is located, this is where we have the potential of seeing 4 to 6 inches of snow and ice accumulations of 0.2 to 0.4 of an inch possible, meaning before we get to the snow part, you're going to be dealing with ice. So the ice is going to fall first, and it's going to create a sheet of ice along the ground. Then you're going to have the snow on top of that. That makes for some of the worst travel of winter that you could ever face, okay? So travel will likely be impossible during this time frame. It's going to be extremely difficult to get to places you need to go as a result of this storm. This is probably one of the biggest storms we have seen in the past few years across this region. So going to be quite a few impacts. It is definitely wise to prepare a little package that you keep in your car if you must travel. If you don't have to travel, I would not recommend it. I'm actually going to be traveling up north as this storm goes through, but I will continue to send updates from where I'm at up in Boyne City, Michigan. So just keep in mind all these different potentials for snowfall. We're going to actually look at the models and see what they have to say regarding our potential for heavy snow, heavy ice across the Great Lakes region. Off to the north, really nothing much going on. You've got a few gale watches, gale warnings on the lake, which makes sense because we have some pretty strong winds over the lake at the moment. On the backside, you can see this warm front is starting to take shape. This warm front is going to lift through our area soon, and then once it does, it's going to warm up our temperatures. On the backside is, if you can see back here, this cold front. That cold front is going to bring in the winter storm potential that we are going to be facing over the next couple of days. So very, very dangerous situation in regards to travel coming up. All right, let's take a look at the models and see what they actually have to say in regards to our potential for severe weather. All right, so let's go back. This is the current model we are looking at is the Ecmwf high-res model. So this model actually does a really good job depicting what snow totals we are more likely to see. This is going to be kind of the more conservative model that I'm going to trust in regards to the forecast for the system. So this 540 line, if you live in parts of central Ohio and central Indiana, see this line where it says 540? This is the real rain to snow transition line, or the one that we focus on in paying attention to where we're going to see rain, we're going to see snow. So as we're going through this, you're going to want to pay attention to where that 540 line is at, okay? So as it moves through, first off, this is around midday. This is actually around 7 p.m. on Tuesday. So 7 p.m. on Tuesday, you see this line of rain start to develop, and you see snow on the top side, okay? So on the back side, you got the cold air, you got the ridge that built up as a result of that warm front passing through, and as those two come together, being fueled by moisture from the Gulf, that's when our heavy snow potential will begin, okay? So Gulf fueling in moisture into this frontal boundary right here, and as it progresses, you can see it really starts to intensify as that moisture really starts to feed into it. So we've got ice already forming along parts of southern Michigan where it begins as rain, but it's going to quickly transition to snow in that region. The more ice concerns are going to be down to the south when we get that nice broad warm sector that takes place in that little area. So you got snow that's really starting to intensify across parts of northern Indiana, central Illinois, northern central Michigan, and then it just continues to form a train of just heavy snow and potential ice as it moves across. By the time we get to Wednesday morning, you're still seeing rain in parts of southern Indiana, southern Ohio. So this is Wednesday afternoon. It's going to be warm enough to where you guys are just going to be seeing rain for a lot of the day on Wednesday. But as we approach Thursday, that's when we see the snow start to progress south, and yet even more Gulf moisture fueling in that heavy snow on the backside. So Missouri is going to be under the gun for an ice storm. Anywhere you see pink is a wintry mix, so it could be potential for ice. Purple is actual freezing rain hazards. So, and then we could actually see the potential for some severe weather across parts of Dixie Alley, so Alabama, Georgia. Very strong storm that is going to be moving through. So got that heavy wintry mix taking place across parts of southern Ohio. This is why they have the winter storm watch for the ice and the snow, because you got that wintry mix that's forming on the backside of it. And then it's going to continue to progress eastward before it finally ends, and the cold front finally makes its pass through, and the cold air mass settles in. Cold air mass is going to bring a lot of cooler air. So, all right, so Ecmwf model shows that. The NAM model agrees with that particular forecast. So if we look at it, it's got that warm front that's building in to bring the cold air. This doesn't really show the entirety of the storm just yet because it goes only 84 hours out. So you got that rain developing once again, and then the snow on the top side once again. And it really intensifies as it gets fueled from the Gulf. Heavy snow across northern Indiana, northern Ohio, southern Michigan. NAM actually puts it out that it lifts off a little bit to the north. So that's a little bit of a difference in regards to the models, but it still puts out a similar scenario. And then we got ice, a freezing rain event forming across southern Missouri. A lot of models are kind of putting out a lot of different potential hazards in regards to this. Freezing rain in central Ohio, central Indiana, southern Ohio, southern Indiana also going to be facing this. This Gulf moisture just continually providing the fuel necessary for this thing to just thrive. And then you got that potential for severe weather once again across Alabama to Tennessee and Kentucky. The models are pretty much agreeing on the fact that there's going to be a large winter storm event taking place across Indiana, Ohio, and southern Michigan. So let's take a look at another model and get an idea of what's going on in regards to the system. So we have in southern Indiana, northern Ohio, northern Indiana, I didn't mean southern Indiana, southern Michigan, northern Indiana, northern Ohio. According to the Ecmwf, the model I'm going to trust in regards to the snowfall. Again, models are variable in regards to different things, so anything can really happen. You just got to pay attention to the range that the model is putting out. And right now the range is really showing over 10 inches in this region here and 9 to 16 inches in this little region here. So that's why we're paying attention to it. So if you live in an area such as, let's start off with Kalamazoo, you're going to get about 9 to 13 inches in that little region. And then as you head off to the south and east, you get upwards of up to 20 inches possible in some of the heavier snow bands. So 17 inches in Fort Wayne, Toledo, 18 inches, Cleveland, 14. Cedarville, when we get down to that point, it looks like 4 to 6 inches, like I said before. So models are putting out a very broad, kind of a broader range of snow totals, which is why they're just putting out, hey, there's going to be more than 10 inches. We're not sure exactly how much exactly, but more than 10 inches in this region that's shaded in red. Okay, so that is the Ecmwf model. Let's take a look at the GFS model. So GFS is putting it more in a southward setup, so it's going to drop more to the south. More models are agreeing on the northward setup, so the Ecmwf agrees that you're not going to see upwards of 17 to 18 inches of snow in Greene County where Cedarville is located. I don't expect that to happen. I think it's going to, as the National Weather Service has put out, it's going to be 4 to 6 inches with quite a bit of ice on that will come first. So GFS model really trying to play it a lot more southward. I'm not sure if that is the best model to go off of. NAM model agreeing with the Ecmwf in regards to snowfall totals. In fact, it's putting out that there won't be any snow accumulations in parts of Cedarville or southern Indiana. It's putting it on a more northward trend. So the northward trend is showing that we could have 15 to 17 inches of snow across Kalamazoo. Similarly, 14 inches in Detroit. And it's putting out upwards of 25 to 27 inches in parts of western Indiana, eastern Illinois. That's a little bit overstretching it, in my opinion. But again, the model is agreeing with that northward trend of the storm system. But I do believe the forecasted snow totals from Ecmwf is worth noting here and paying closer attention to, because that is the model that the National Weather Service has really seemed to base their forecast off of in multiple winter storm situations. So this is the one that I would see is more likely to take place. All right, GFS also puts out an idea of how much ice accumulations we're going to get. So I want to take a look at that ice accumulation potential. And it'll buffer just a minute. So the ice accumulation potential puts it a lot farther than south than what would originally be forecasted. But there is potential for 0.2 to 0.4 of an inch of ice along a band extending from central Ohio, such as Columbus, all the way through southern Indiana. So it's going to be something to pay attention to in regards to ice accumulations. So quite a bit of snow that we're going to be dealing with, and it's going to be quite a bit to dig out of too. And it's going to last for several days, because on the back side of the system, we are going to have cold air to talk about. So let's take a look at cold air potential real quick. So we have, let's actually put it on a slider, forecast a loop real quick. By the way, you can access all this information yourself on pivotalweather.com. It gives you everything that you need. So I think this model is a little bit behind today. So it's putting out January 31st, Monday, January 31st. We have wind chills in the single digits as of 7 a.m. And it's definitely going to get warmer. You can see that warm air building in from the west as a result of that warm front. And it's building into southern Indiana, 36. And look, you get temperatures of up into the 50s quickly. And then on the backside, you can see that those sub-zero wind chills that are forming. I'm basing this off of wind chills right now. This is not the actual air temperature. This would be absolutely crazy if this was the actual air temperature. But it is going to be warm in parts of southern Ohio, southern Indiana tomorrow. And then the front will start to build in along this little region here. So those 40s will build in, and then on the backside we will have that cold front that moves in, and it's going to kind of just sit there and slowly progress down to the south and east, keeping that snow tightly packed in this little area. And you can see how cold it's going to start getting, or how cold it's going to start feeling as we get to later during the storm. So this is Thursday, February 3rd. This is when the storm is still progressing through. we're getting starting to get into sub-zero wind chill potential. And then our wind chills get down to the negative teens, negative 20s. So it's going to be a deep freeze Saturday, very cold, and that cold is just going to stick around for quite a while. It doesn't look like there's going to be much of a warm-up anytime soon. So it's going to be a very cold next several days behind this system, which means the snow is not going to really go much of anywhere either. So then it looks like the models are putting out another cold air mass moving in behind that too. So there's going to be a lot to keep an eye on in regards to the potential for snow accumulations. So hopefully this video gave you some good information regarding the potential of snow that's moving in. Make sure to like if you liked and leave a comment if you have any questions regarding the storm that's moving in. If you are watching this fairly recently, I'm going to be doing a live stream on all of my platforms at 6 p.m. So you can hop into either Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube at 6 p.m. to get a more thorough update, and I will answer questions live as I am presenting the material. Alright, so hopefully it was helpful, and I hope you stay safe as this storm moves through. Take those safety precautions that the National Weather Service recommends, and enjoy the snow if you're a snow lover. Have a good rest of your evening.